Hey folks, welcome back, another Palm Master video. So, in the last dev letter, they did mention something about a villain arc story focusing on a new region is scheduled to be added in mid-May, which should be the next update, right? Unless they do something like what they did with the 2.5 anniversary, where they, hid half of the stuff behind, like, a second update or whatever, right? In the middle of... was it March, right? Something like that. So unless they do that, most likely that's what I guess a bulk of the next update's going to be, right? Which is the villain arc for the next region. So let's talk about what potential regions it could be, right? So far we've had two regions for villain arc, one being Kanto and then also Sinnoh, right? So the ones that we don't have over here are villain arc stories for Alola, right? Galar, Hoenn, Unova, Kalos, and Johto. But like, here's the other thing about Johto, because if you look at this picture, right? If you look at this picture specifically, it only shows Rose, Lysander, Ghetsis, Archie, Maxie, Luzamine, and Guzma. It doesn't show any other Johto villains outside of Giovanni, which is obviously from Kanto as well. So, like, the thing about, like, a Johto villain arc, is it possible? Yeah, but there's also a chance that... I don't know. I'm just saying that the chances of there being a Johto villain arc is there, but it just doesn't show on the banner, right? Is the banner indicative of everything? No, obviously not, but I'm just trying to say there's like a non-zero possibility that they just counted Giovanni as like Kanto and Johto, sort of. But yeah, anyways, so let's talk about which villain arcs are possible, and well, let's talk about like two things: which villain arcs are possible, all right, that or are likely, and which villain arcs we need, because those are two separate questions. If you're asking which villain arc probably is the most likely, I'd say it would be Unova, because of the fact that, if you guys remember, the data miners did find some information about an unreleased Signasuit N, right? That's in the files. So if that is indicative of anything, then that could potentially mean we're getting a new SSN with like a new Unova arc coming up, right? In that case. And the other thing about Unova is, yes, we have a billion Unova units already, and I get it. Please stop releasing Unova characters. I know. People are mad at Unova, but the reality is Unova, even though despite having the most characters of any region in the game, is still missing so many characters. Is still missing a lot of characters, right? Kalos is one that comes to mind in terms of, that could have some connections with a potential Unova villain arc, right? There's also a lot of gym leaders, and we just recently, right, with the Curious Tea Party, we got the three monkey gym leaders, right? Their models, everything's in the game, so they're ready to go, right? If they are gonna drop in the game somehow, the models are there, right? The Pokemon models are there. Just give them a moveset, passive grid, and then boom, they're ready to go, right? So I think that's another argument in support of maybe potentially having Unova villain arc next, right? So that's the one I think is the most likely. Now let's talk about some that are that I feel are maybe not likely, right? Hoenn, I don't think Hoenn's very likely, because of the fact that Hoenn's main villains are Archie and Maxie. And I don't think they're getting a rerun anytime soon, because if they do drop a Hoenn villain arc, you'd think they'd have to rerun Archie and Maxie's banner. And I don't think that's happening anytime soon, because of the fact that, well, they, in theory, should only rerun after Leon's. Obviously, this is not a set in stone theory. There have been some banners that came later, that debuted later, that rerun earlier than some other banners, right? But in theory, it would make sense for them to first rerun Leon's banner before they rerun Archie and Maxie. Plus, it hasn't even been a year since they've came out yet, so I do think the chances of a Hoenn villain arc is slightly low, and also the fact that we just have so many Hoenn characters in the game as well. Not as much as Unova, but a lot, right? And we just had, anniversary focused on May as well. Well, not focused, but May was one of the Annie units. So I think the likelihood of Hoenn isn't super likely, but on the other hand, there is that one possibility looming that if you guys look at May, right? And we've talked about this. That the May that we have right now is clearly missing a second half to her, right? If you look at her kit, very, very likely we will be getting a a Brendan and Latios as well to the game added because of that May's grid has a lot of special defense debuffing stuff that May doesn't have, that Latios doesn't have access to, that Latios does have access to, right? So it does seem like maybe Latios Brendan for a Hoenn villain arc, or maybe they're saving it for the anniversary, so we get an anniversary May and Latios, an anniversary Brendan and Latios, right? Maybe something like that. But anyways, that aside, right? Yeah, I don't think the Hoenn villain arc is super likely, but again, there is that one possibility with, if they're trying to do the Latios thing, they're trying to get that in quick, then we could definitely see Hoenn villain arc, right? I mean, and look, even for the ones I'm saying not likely, there's still a chance they could, drop them, because this is just me guessing, right? Based off of just, honestly, nothing. The other one I don't think is very likely is Alola. And nothing against Alola, it just seems like we've had like a lot of Alola stuff in the game. Not very recently, because we haven't really gotten like a... When was the last time we've gotten a Alola unit? Was it SS Luzamine? But yeah, SS Luzamine was like our last like big Alolan unit. And yeah, it has been a while since we've gotten like a new Alolan unit, but Alola so far the cast is pretty much there, right? They're really not missing too many characters. It's just like Ilma, right, and like a few more here and there, some side characters. So Alola really isn't missing too much. And again, we just got Luzamine, and Luzamine is going to be one of the focuses of the Alolan villain arc, right? So I don't think it's very likely. Maybe they do something with Guzma. Maybe if they split like Alola villain arc into like two, where like one of the Alola villain arc focuses on like Guzma, and then like the other half focuses on Luzamine. Maybe we get like the Guzma part first or something. I don't really have too much of a basis for Alola not being next. Again, which means Alola could totally be next, but it's just that, at the moment, like Alola is kind of full, right? And I'm more talking, at this point, I'm more talking about the needs rather than, I guess, what is more possible, right? So, speaking of needs, Johto. Oh my god. Johto is extremely down bad. All these regions, almost every region has a Master Sphere. It's only Johto and Kanto. Kanto doesn't have a Master Sphere, right? And Johto not only doesn't have a Master Sphere, Johto doesn't even have a single Pokefair at the moment. Oh my god. Literally. No Pokefairs. I mean, Johto does have some really, really good, stuff like it, but no Pokefairs. Not even a single Pokefair. So, in terms of need, Johto is number one on the list. Not a single region is close to how down bad Johto is, right? Not a single region is down bad as close as Johto is. And again, the big thing with Johto is, well, what are they really going to do with the villain arc? Because Johto's main villain is Team Rocket, right? And obviously, we've already seen Team Rocket in the Kanto villain arc side, so I do wonder what else are they going to do with it. So that's the, I guess, big issue with Johto, right? So, anyways, any other ones? I could also see Galar happening because of the fact that they could rerun Leon, as I pointed at my mic and hit my mic. They could rerun Leon, and Leon's due for a rerun, man. Leon is due for a rerun. What they could do is they rerun Leon, give him the G-Max Charizard, right? Maybe rerun Raihan as well, give Raihan the G-Max, because they're waiting for that G-Max, right? If you look at their moves, Leon's Charizard has Hurricane, Earthquake, and Inferno. That's 4 different type moves. That's 4 different type of max moves he could get. Same thing with, well, not same thing, but like with like Raihan's Duraludon, if you look at his grid, there's stuff like he has like Tough Cookie, but then, his defense buffs aren't super consistent, so like maybe a max move to help buff his defense, or there's a lot of Sandstorm nodes, maybe, he could whip up some Sandstorm or like Rock Slide, right? Because like 90% sure he has Rock Slide, right? So stuff like that, right? And also he has 3 different type moves as well, right? So maybe they could do Galar next with, again, just also G Max, or not, it doesn't have to be G Max, but like max upgrades for past Galarian units that need it, right? Or seem like they are going for that. So I do think Galar's another possibility. Also, Galar is missing a lot of characters. Galar is missing a lot of characters, right? Like, they're missing basically almost all their gym leaders, except for, like, Nessa and B, I guess. Is it literally just Nessa and B? Oh, Raihan, I guess. Okay, Piers. Nessa, B, Piers, Raihan. Are those the only 4 right now in the game? Nessa, B, Piers, Raihan. Yeah, literally those 4. Oh, Alistair. There's Alistair as well. So, yeah, they're missing a lot. Melody, Gordy, Kabu, Milo, right? On and on and on and on. The Opal, right, as well. There's like B, they're missing a billion characters, right, basically. So Galar's also a possibility, I think. And then the last one, which is Kalos. Kalos we've talked about in the last video before, right? Well, not the last video. The last time we did a bit of a speculation video for last month. In the last speculation video, I said maybe within the next 2 months we could potentially be getting like a big Kalos dump because of the fact that they did that with Annie Lily, right? Annie Lily being a Alolan Master Fair. Before Annie Lily dropped, they just dumped 2 months of Alolan characters just to strengthen up the Alolan roster for Annie Lily's Master Passive to sort of grow a bit, right? And the issue over here with Kalos is, well, Serena dropping, Kalos does not really have that roster to bolster its, the amount of Kalos units that could buffer Master Passive. Not that it's a huge deal, because like even if they do drop a lot of Kalos units, it would be hard to really not run her with like Lucas / a flex, right? Maybe you can run a Kalos flex unit in there, right? But yeah, most of the Kalosian units, they're just Dianthas, right? They're just Dianthas, they're Serenas, which obviously you can't run Serena with any other Serenas, so maybe Kalos, right, just to bolster up that Kalos roster, because Kalos is missing a decent amount of characters too. All the rivals, friends, whatever you want to call them, those guys are missing. Still missing a decent amount of gym leaders, right? Decent amount of Elite Fours too. Malva's not here. Drazza's not here. Well, I say decent amount, but that's only 2. I mean, 2 out of 4 is like half, 50%. So, yeah. So maybe Kalos is another possibility. So, yeah. Anyways, that's me this one, I guess. Just going over some possibilities, some arguments for and against which Villinar could potentially be next. But should be an interesting month next month. Should definitely be an interesting month next month. Hopefully it's more interesting than this month, at least. But we'll see. So, anyways, yeah, that's me this one. Hope you all enjoyed. Guys, think in the comments down below. Like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel for some more content. I'll see you guys in the next one then.